3 minutes late. All right, we're gonna get started. We can start. We can start by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we start off the evening. I'm gonna read the rules for our selectmen's meetings.
General.
I'll get there. Meeting rules are posted in the meeting room. This is so everyone will understand that while selectmen meetings are public proceedings, the public has no right to participate unless the board allows it or is scheduled as a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak about a topic must be placed on the agenda by filling out a request form and turning it into the office 5 working days prior to the meeting. Chairperson will allow 15 minutes for open discussion at the end of every board meeting. Anyone speaking to the public and the board will do so in a civil tone. Yelling, swearing, or belittling is not allowed. Anyone doing so will be asked to sit down as a warning. If order is not observed, the person will be asked to leave. If the person does not leave, law enforcement will be called to remove the person from the meeting and possible charges will be filed. Anyone speaking must represent themselves unless written permission has been given from somebody wanting to be represented by someone else. All personnel issues will be conducted in executive session with the person present. All cell phones are to be turned off and put on vibrate. All right, so I will open our GA public hearing to start us off for the evening. And I will turn it over to Kathy.
Every couple of years, the general assistance, department in the state of Maine updates their ordinances and updates their maximums and minimums, and that is just what it is. It gives us a guidance for how much we can, look for, give, as far as food, rent, heat, all the different things. And this is just updated for the whole state. So it's done by county. And it goes by the amount of people, the amount of children, where you live. So we just need to update that and approve the ordinance for the 2024-25 year.
Okay. Questions? Can I get a motion to approve the GA ordinance with the updated appendices?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the updated GA ordinance? And we'll do roll call vote where we have Sean on Zoom.
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Yes. Michelle?
Yes.
And I'm also yes.
Perfect, thank you.
All right. So that gets us into our regular meeting. We do have a few agenda adjustments this evening. Changing out new business or rearranging new business a little bit. Starting with the fire truck bid. B will be the Medicare rate increase. C and then C through H. And then we will do the Campbell Road proposal is I and the computer code is J.
Try that one more time,
Yeah.
please. A is fire truck.
Yep,
Yep.
B is Medicare. And then the list, just change it C through H.
Yep.
It's already existing. I is a Campbell Road proposal.
Yep.
J is computer quote.
Thank you.
Sure. And we'll go from there. All right. Approval of the minutes from our meeting on October 7th.
I make a motion to approve as read.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from October 7th. Carol,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
and I'm also yes.
Just sign in.
And then now we need to sign the GA ordinance that we just voted on. And book restoration.
Received an updated quote from NEDCC, you got, you got a restoration of book 2. And the total with restoration and digitizing is 11,700. That's actually a little cheaper than what it had been previously.
I would say that didn't go the direction that I
No,
expected it
me
to. And that includes the full digitizing.
Yes, it does. 9,020 for the book restoration, 2,680 for digitizing it.
And that was book 2, you
Correct.
said?
Did they give us a timeline on how long that quote is good for? Just out of curiosity.
No, they did not, or nothing. It says inaccurate.
Okay.
They've been pretty lenient with us, probably a little too much, so.
Well, they've had it for what, 3 years now?
Yeah,
Okay.
but they did book 3 first because we voted to do that when it was in
Right.
poor condition in book 2.
Mhm.
And I believe our carryover number from general government was
It was
16.
16 and change, but
Yeah.
we're still waiting for some movements.
Okay.
For some adjustments to be made.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a couple AP adjustments that gotta be made still.
Can we do a motion of 11,700 dependent upon a carryover of X amount?
Good. Open for motions.
That's kind of supposed to be a yes or no answer.
Alright. You can make a motion.
How many of these historic books are there?
Two.
We've had 1 and 3 done, 2 is down there, there's a couple more upstairs that aren't necessarily as bad or as significant as these first 3 were, so.
1 and 2, I mean, 1 and 3 were the worst, right? That's why they got
Correct.
done
Yeah.
first.
Yes.
Yeah, one was done, not necessarily because it was the worst, but because it was bicentennial time.
Right,
So that's why we pushed hard to get one done. And then 3 was definitely the
3
worst,
was bad,
the worst one of
Yeah.
what we had.
I remember one of them being really, really
yeah,
bad.
there are
Yeah.
some that they won't be able to be restored because it has the old ink in it and they've gotten wet and it's just faded beyond it,
Yeah, a few of our flooded books are.
so. So we have a carryover at least 14. Does that sound suitable to you?
I'm just taking them in.
People? What do you say, Michelle?
I would second that motion.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that. Dependent upon a carryover of at least 14,000 in the general government fund, that we will proceed with restoring book 2 for 11,700.
And I second that, yes.
Did you get all that? I'm good.
Do
How
you wanna
much
just-
is in that general government fund?
So, as of last meeting, it was 16,000.
The carryover from last year is what we're looking at, Sean. It looks like there was 16,000 and change left in that account last year. And there's a couple expenses that just need to be journal entry to the correct place. So that's why I said I'm not sure that that's 100% what we have. That's why Carol was making the motion. If we had at least 14,000 left there, then to use that.
Is that what that's set aside for?
It does not.
So if we don't vote for that to go to something specific, then it would go into the general fund surplus account.
Okay,
Did you want to add in your motion? You said restore. Did you want to have digitized in the as part of the
I had
motion?
the
or-
11,700 as
Okay.
the, which included digitizing.
Sounds good.
And East.
NEDCC.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor and a second. Carol,
Yes,
Sean,
yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well.
I will let them know,
Okay.
depending on.
Yep, and I will finish going through the printout that I have sitting at home on my desk and get with Tricia to get those cut things updated and see where we're at.
Thank you, guys.
Nice to actually move forward with it and
Yes.
get another one checked off the list. New business, fire truck bid. So we have a sealed bid for the fire truck.
A double sealed bid.
Okay, how many came in? That's all that counts. So we have a sealed bid from Barry Moses in Kingston, New Hampshire. For $3,632.12.
632.
363212. And that's for the 1989 Pierce. And we have a check in hand for 400
Nice.
for the deposit.
Make the motion to accept. Second.
Discussion, Jason, are you happy with that?
Take it.
Okay,
Based on what Jeremy told me, he paid for one for a year and he did, you know, paid like 1,800 for it, so.
mhm. Sounds good. I have a motion and a second to accept the bid from Barry Moses for $3,632.12. Carol,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes, I just have one question. Where does that money go?
that money would go into the fire department reserve account.
Okay,
Unless Jason, another one for it. Okay, usually what we've done in the past is, vehicle sales would go into the reserve account for that, specific department.
okay, thanks.
Yep. Michelle,
Yes.
and I'm yes as well. I will end that. And so I will end it.
What's his contact info on me?
Yes,
I didn't know
Yep.
if the guy had been calling him and all.
okay, it had phone number and email both listed in there.
You want a photocopy? Thank you.
Perfect.
You comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not made up.
Yeah, I know. No, check. Yeah, this time can't remember. Very small print. It took me a minute to see it. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. No, good.
I missed it.
Yeah. Good. All set. Okay, all right, and now we move on to Medcare. Apparently we have a rate increase
Yeah,
again.
on October, I think it was the 9th. Budget for 2025 was presented. And it was adopted unanimously, by the board of directors. They included a $3 subsidy increase per capita. So what that means for the town of Canton is last year we paid 45,000. In 2025, the total will go up to $48,375. And Paul Landry is the director, and he does a very good job. The bulk of the increase is with, wages, which is happening everywhere. They're having a hard time keeping staff. And, part of it was also insurance, which goes up every year. And the other piece that I wanted to mention is that because the state adopted this FMLA pool, I'm not exactly sure how that works, but that's also included in the budget as well. And that's something that I think the town is gonna be included in as well. I'm not positive of that. I'll be thinking about that because that starts in 2025, even though people can't draw on it until 26.
Are they ever gonna consider aligning their budget cycles with most of their area towns?
Some do it yearly, some do it,
Right.
you're never gonna get a consensus.
different.
I know, but seems like most of them around here are on the same fiscal year that we do.
Yeah, I think, I want to say last time, what did he tell us? It was like half and half, I think, wasn't it? The last time he came and
I
presented
don't
to us.
remember.
Yeah, it's been a little bit now.
And he mentioned if you had any questions, they wanted him to come talk about stuff, he's more than willing to do that.
He's been good about that.
Yeah, he's always been really good about coming to our meetings.
Yeah.
The good news is we did budget enough to
I
cover
know.
that, so that's.
Doesn't mean we wanted to use it.
No,
Yeah, right, exactly.
no, I agree. I'm just saying that was my first concern was
Our crystal ball was looking that day.
fairly. It'll be close, but we did budget enough to cover that, so,
Help playing the game long enough.
yeah. All right,
Well, thanks, but no thanks for.
yeah, thanks for the info. Anything else Medicare related?
He's doing good work, getting a lot of grants, getting a lot of stuff done by grants.
Nice.
One of the latest things was they installed a solar system up there. Couple months, but their power consumption dropped by 85%
Wow.
as far as
Yep.
electricity costs.
And a chunk of that, they got a grant, actually paid for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right, wonderful, thank you. Transfer station fence quote. So we have a quote here from Quality Fence in Rumford.
I had a hard time reading.
Cost to install one slide gate on rollers. One 20-foot by 6-foot high cantilever gate to be installed, removing existing 20-foot swing gate.
That's the copy I had, and that's, the more I copy, I mean, the more.
No,
I
no,
try-
it's the actual final number, even in the picture that I got in my email.
68,
68. Okay.
68.
Okay, 68, okay.
Yep.
The more I lightened it, the darker it got, go figure.
50% up front.
Yes.
What was that number you said?
6,800. So Sean, that was only for the one side, not both?
Right, that's what Jim said he wanted.
Okay.
They put up the fence at the water district and they're gonna install another 225 feet of fence at the water district.
By chance, is it possible to see what it would cost to have that on an electric slide?
Sure.
Christine asked me about it the last day. She and I were talking about it before she had said you were getting a quote. Just thinking about Jim trying to slide that, or any of us trying to slide that at times, if it would be easier, depending on the cost, to see about doing an electric slide.
Absolutely.
But it may be, like I say, it may be more than what it's worth, but it would just be interesting to see what that addition would cost.
When I get back, I'll call him.
Okay, that'd be great. Other questions
No.
on that? All
Are
right,
they replacing the old fence or is
just the gates.
just the gates?
Yep.
We keep up with the quotes for that, but just one.
Excuse me?
The problem is we haven't been able to get another quote.
Yeah.
We've tried like 4 different companies and
One
they
was,
either won't call back or they'll come do it, and then we've never gotten a quote from the company.
We've been trying to get quotes on the fence since Russ has been on the board.
It's been either 2 or 3
I
years
met
now
with
that we've been
someone
fighting
one
about it.
morning and he measured everything and then he never heard anything.
All right, so we will wait to see what we get back on that and go from there. Messed up my papers. And town cloud. Welcome.
Hi. You'll be.
Yeah.
If you want to give an overview, we currently run Trio in the office, for all of our stuff. And we met Robbie at Maine Municipal Association's conference, and, Aaron and I were really interested in the product that they are creating, and we invited Robbie to, give an overview.
Who's like that?
Everybody.
Okay.
Yep, the
I'll do
board.
my best. Really quickly, Town Cloud is essentially modern software, so it's gonna be not glitchy and much more reliable than the current solution that the town uses for the financial solution and the account transactions. We've been around since 2014 and have built several apps on one unified platform. So it's hosted in the cloud, so AWS hosted. There's agenda management, website, 311, billing and collection solution, and the solution that we're proposing in Canton is a full fund account solution. What it really is fancy talk for a really deep accounting solution. So a bit more bells and whistles than you might need, but you've got functionality if you need it. The really neat thing really for Canton, because we really would like a small account in our user group, is that we're offering really extremely preferential pricing. We had a similar town price out their savings over 10 years, and it was $175,000 savings over 10 years. Which essentially you have three options: a solution that doesn't work very well right now, that you've been forced to a newer version of that same solution that doesn't work very well either, or take a risk with a newer Maine-based company, either in Brunswick. Our founder and our CEO live out in Norway, so we're here. We're just smaller than the current solution we currently have. It's modern software, so it works. It's a web browser, essentially. I can answer any questions you may have. I know that the board does have a packet of material, and probably more than they want for their town meeting. But it's a significant savings and it's a solution that works. And in terms of the roadmap, what we have is a full fund account solution out in the wild that other places are using, not Maine, but other states. What we're doing is adapting our accounting solution for Maine specifically. So in that regard, we need a EMV functionality, payroll and tax billing, for instance. We have the front screens already done. We have the platform, the engine that it sits on already developed. It's connecting the two. What I'm inviting Canton to do, and Kathy, is to be part of the user group from now through about the new year to help shape and make sure we formatted those screens correctly, that we've captured the voice of every town so that it works for you. So it's a more streamlined. The goal for Canton would be to go live with the new solution in July, with the year. To allow all the modules to be up and running, complete and tested, so there's really no risk for you. I don't know if that's answered any potential questions.
How many other towns are you working with in Maine now?
There's several who are about to sign up. The ones signed up right now and in the core group. And by the way, we meet weekly. There's a web portal that we share updates with, and we have weekly updates with that core group. We have Farmington, Durham, Solon, Harris, Madison. I think the next couple that will be coming on. Bassborough should be coming on. China should be later. We will have hopefully Dayton and Kingsport. We're working in different regions. I met with Big Harbour yesterday. And my next one, I hope, will be Canton. It's a smaller town we're used to, but that's a good thing. We want their involvement, we want their insight. And honestly, it's a huge time saver and just a sigh of relief for you because it works. As well as being a huge financial savings also. And I should mention that savings we proposed were prices that would be locked for the next 10 years. So anyway, now, before we release the new year, we're committing to lock that price. You know your cost is going to be the same for the next decade, as opposed to increasing costs. There are no additional fees, services, implementation charges. It's just a subscription service like you would pay yourself. Then it's locked.
By tech support if there
Yes.
is an issue.
Absolutely. And that's going to technical, we have to put multi-tenant architecture, so they go to support instead of a server for every account, it's one server. Support much easier, much faster. It also means that there's new features, everybody gets the features and upgrades. The content data very hosted, secure, data is net free, so it's a separate side of data. The downside, of course, is means you're stopping work from home, if you have to. So, yes, we do provide support.
I guess the bulk of my question was if there's an issue, there's somebody
Yes,
that they can
yes.
call and talk to.
Yeah, and actually, you're gonna talk to a real person. We don't offshore anything. We are purely domestic. Our leader of our tech team is actually in Florida, we have folks in California, Colorado, and a bunch of us here in New Hampshire. But yeah, do talk to like person. You're unlikely to talk to me. I'm just pretty face. You're probably gonna talk to Gary, who's or Rhonda, who's and experts who would help with any user issues if there's a question of how can I reconfigure this screen? So you have the ability to configure anything you want in the system. It's very user friendly. It's like an online Excel sheet essentially. So you can run reports from anywhere at any time and actually shoot it anytime you want.
Does the software have the the capability to take a export for historical data and put
Absolutely.
in?
We love to do that because then you have more years to compare against.
Mhm.
We do something called a one-to-many relationship as well. So if you have a list of old vendors, with your old numbers, or your old chart accounts, you can keep those old numbers and input data into our system. It could be an API or web services integration, or typically a flat file, so Excel or CSV. We take that, we inject it into our system, and then you can have your new cleaner, reduced chart of accounts or reduced vendor list, and we tag your old data appropriately. And because again, it's an online Excel type system solution, you can just go and extract whatever data you want from any place. But you have data for multi-year. Yes.
Do you have like a non-edited viewing for other
Yeah,
people
you
that
can-
don't
yes.
have the editing power?
Yeah.
But to be able to see books
Correct. Now,
side other than the, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
People that are not gonna be editing to be able to view.
yes, and it's a permission-based system, so you might have your users who can edit the information, and then you may have other users who can only view that information. External auditor could have access and view that, yeah, absolutely.
Do you do your own security?
How do you mean?
Internally,
yes, for security checks and compliance. Yeah, and then because it's posted in the cloud, the rest of the cybersecurity is really under AWS, so it's cloud-based, essentially. Actually, it's within a subset of AWS, so it's more side.
Do you have a copy or is it posted on the site of the privacy policy or terms of use?
I know our subscription agreement is on our website, very, very transparent. I don't know the privacy policy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's on there or not. It may be embedded within our subscription agreement.
Okay.
Something you need, I can certainly provide it.
Yep, yeah, if I could get a copy, that'd be
We
great.
certainly do make it very, very transparent.
Mhm.
Not philosophy.
Yep. You may have mentioned it when I was reading through stuff. What would the overall timeframe be in terms of from saying yes to being set up and ready to roll?
So what we would propose for Canton is to pay a deposit, essentially, so you park the money with us, it's a refundable deposit. So if you decide in July, when you want to go live, you change your mind, you get your money back. And we would get you into our user sessions now, particularly like Dan's input as a tech guy, to shape how these screens will work and function, make sure that we are doing what we need to do for you. That would run through about the Christmas-January period. The modules that we are currently focused mostly on are the BMV modules. We've met the state for compliance and audit reasons, and they've been fantastic. And tax billing. We're also working with Mark Roy and Donna Hayes on issues of assessment and audit. They work with other towns in the state to make sure that we are on track for Maine specifically. The go live will vary. So again, I believe that your July fiscal year starts, so optimally, we would not release you live in your system until July. That way you can close your books cleanly and we'd load all the data before then, obviously, and then release. And because it's period or date driven, we're not, we can do an exact date or day as opposed to a period. So you have adjusting periods within our system. So you can reconcile the next couple of months if you want. It really is a true podcast.
I can say, Robbie came up and did showed us a lot of the modules and how they work. But no, it was great, it was perfect. Something that Aaron and I like is that typically when somebody, and I don't care, you know, what product it is, they never take into account the people who actually use it. And they're doing a great job working with, like Liz in South Paris. She's helping saying, okay, this is how we use this. This is what needs to be tweaked. They're taking clerk's words on the best way to use things. Did you have anything, Aaron, that stood out?
Impressed with product, the ability to get very granular, drill into basically any number you can think of. There was not really limitation on how far we could drill down. Like when the end of the year comes and we're doing all those reports and we're trying desperately to figure out how to make all those things work. It's a hell of a lot easier to be able to go, this number, what makes it happen?
Yeah, it's a large data lake, basically, all of the data is in one big place. You just want to be what you want to get at, and just it's if you get a particle there, not separate, but ones connected together. Oh, the other thing maybe helpful is a project in the grant awarded, which
Was that?
project called grant awarded is enhancing this institution. So if you have ARPA funds to track and use, there's extended that and there are a lot of runs that you utilize. So this would help you stay extremely organized in that regard. It's a very deep system, I can go on and on, try not to sign.
Is it a system where the town will be able to pay? So this is for us to use, right, town people?
No, for the
Oh,
towns
that's
collectively administration. We do have a separate solution that you could bill in collection, but that's.
This is ultimately to replace what we use behind the counter.
It's
And is the annual subscription and the down payment, is there any other cost besides those two?
No, it is one fixed flat cost. It's imagine it's your family plan bundle on itself, it's the same kind of idea.
Okay,
It's all in service, support, everything, and we want it that way, because we grow by having new clients, not by nickel and diming. Privately held company, family owned, 3 generations old, and we are a private equity owned company. Believe me, I get Silicon Valley, I understand how it works and operates and the squeeze that they make to make more money for shareholders. We are not that. We're the anti-private equity group.
thank you.
You're most welcome.
And I believe if I heard you right, if you come up with a new module that goes in, we're not charged extra. for it.
Correct. You use as much of those as you like. We've designed this for very
No
large
hidden
accounts.
fees.
There's no increase, no. Again, very transparent. We, Crook County uses Sonargon, for instance, they have 3 separate entities, fire store in the county. And it's flat costs, they can use it whatever they want. You get the same functionality of county of that magnitude yet.
Okay.
Hopefully that's helpful.
Very helpful.
Any other questions from the board? I guess I just would like to have Tricia look through it and get her thoughts. And then also we were checking in with Paul from J O'Donnell. Since they do access our Trio system.
Sure, yeah.
So it would just be good to check in with Paul and see if that would still be possible or how that would possibly could work from his end.
Okay.
And then we can revisit it.
May I?
Yeah.
Just check it out in terms of. They either have access, which is preferred, so they can do it at any time. Or you can export from any of the screens you like the data, they can just CSV or Excel out. It's very easy, so we don't restrict that anyway.
Nice.
And if they have, the 2 people that we want to review it with too, if they have any questions,
Please do that.
we can reach out. All right, thank you so
And
much.
now it's-
Okay.
Thank you.
Would it be, limited to maybe reach out to a couple of the towns that probably said.
Oh,
We will.
yeah, we definitely will before we, yeah, no, we would definitely do that before we move forward with it.
And that would be possibilities.
John, do you have any questions on it?
No, you guys have answered them.
All right, thanks for coming and we'll follow back up to the after we get more info.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Directly, but
No, no, on to the agenda, planning board appointments. Uh,
I have no filled out papers,
okay,
so. The last I was told that we had two people who are interested. Um. I did find these. But nothing has been filled out,
Okay.
so,
if we can get those filled out before our next meeting,
okay,
and hopefully the full board will be at the next meeting, so we can make it an
okay.
appointment.
I don't know who the second person was,
Dawn Everly.
okay. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay.
Are you taking into consideration that, Staple Hill is pretty well, represented already, and that, I mean, you've got two on the select board and two on the planning board already. A third member, I understand one of those applicants is for else, if that's Staples Hill. You really want three from one area.
There will be a lot of things taken into consideration when it comes to that time.
Very good.
What apps? And you revisit at the next meeting?
Yep, we can get those filled out and. All right.
Yeah.
You're gonna take one for them.
No, I didn't say.
No, we can get you the contact info for it.
do we have contact? Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do.
I do.
I was gonna say she's,
I have it on here.
Okay.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep, no, we will, when we get the filled form, we will move forward.
I know.
Town sign, so we've been talking about this for, I don't know, 3-4 years now. Trying to figure out what the plan was or how we were gonna fund putting a digital portion underneath the town sign, like a lot of other towns and businesses have been doing in the past few years. So Christie had reached out to Neocraft back, probably about 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago now. To look at doing it with some of our COVID funding. We do still have that funding and the funding will run out, in December. So I couldn't find the copy that Christie had given me, back at one of our other meetings. So I reached out to Neocraft last week and their rep sent me the updated copy. He said the numbers did change a little bit. Carl, person I talked to, he said the numbers had changed just a little bit since the last time, but it was not much because he told me on the phone that we'd be looking at roughly 20,000 and the number came in a lot less than that. His plan or thought is, excuse me, from when he came up and met with Christie the last time, would be putting a 2-foot by 6-foot panel underneath the current sign. That would be, and all these prices would include us getting the electrical circuit out there. Through our own electrician. So the quote for a 6x2 9mm sign, which is middle of the road, he said there is a smaller version and also a more expensive version. His recommendation was to go with a 9mm 6x2. Right, double-sided, priced $14,794. That, and then if you included the installation, the total would be $16,570.66. He does have sales tax on the quote, but we'll remove that once he gets a copy of our tax exempt information.
What is the balance in the offer currently?
Right, you're gonna ask
Hey,
that.
That's me.
The last printout that we had was 14 and change, 46 and change.
I was gonna say, there was more than that in
I was
there.
looking at the number 14 when I said that, sorry. There is, and then the second number that we have, ARPA funds unaudited right there, 36,895.07.
That sounds close.
Yep,
Yeah.
36,895.07. And like I said, that is unaudited. We're waiting for RHR to confirm that, but, So what we talked about doing is, we talked about doing the electronic sign and then looking at doing the Zoom connection, Zoom hardware for this building, or this room.
Zoomify the room.
Zoomify the room, sorry, I forgot the correct wording for it, my bad. My bad. So he's looking for our approval on this, like I say, the total 16,570.66. Our deposit amount on that would be 13,909.90. I did ask him if, I told him our timing deadline, that it would have to be done, before the end of December, and he said not a problem. That would not be an issue on their end, as long as our electrician could get the wire done in time, and I told him that wouldn't be an issue.
Any idea what that would cost us?
I do not know off the top of my head. His recommendation was run more than one line, just because that way we had another outlet out there, so we wouldn't have to use the same outlet as the sign. If we did want to do something else out there, whether it be decoration or, he said decoration, or even if there was, we want to do something with lighting on our existing sign. His recommendation is not to use the same power line as the digital sign. He also would prefer a data cable be pulled at the same time. That way we can connect to it wired versus wireless. Made the comment that that connection is better suited for better quality at least.
That's gonna go underneath this sign right here,
Correct.
and the snow goes up.
Not that far.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, okay. I just remember snow up against that sign, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't go that far.
Thank you.
I think I missed something. Did you say there's enough in the closing fund that you had?
Yes.
Out of that?
Yep.
Thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion to, accept or go with the Neocraft proposal of $16,570.66 for, and out of the, COVID funds that we have. The COVID ARPA funds, for the, 6x2, 9mm double-sided, digital sign.
You really want to make my minute?
Sorry.
You can always look at the recording if you need to.
I'll second it.
You always second it, so.
I was gonna say, you already had me seconded it, so.
All right, I have a motion and a second to go ahead with the Neocraft proposal. 16,570.66 out of the ARPA funds.
That'll be interesting.
I have a question. What can these opera funds be used for?
Anything to do with infrastructure upgrades, which is why we used the majority of it on the sewer department. We also spent some on,
I think that was always.
I think it's just the,
Yeah,
just the
okay,
sewer
yeah.
department. The other thing we're looking at spending it on is the Zoom system for the meeting room. I don't have the full list in front of me. I can send you the from the award letter that we got from the federal government that says the exact breakdown.
Both are great additions for information sharing in this town.
Mhm.
Both the digital sign and Zoomifying this room would be amazing to encourage transparency and information sharing.
All right. Carol,
Yes.
Sean,
No, I don't feel good about it. We just went up $1.50 on taxes.
We can't use those funds to offset taxes is the only thing,
But that
Sean.
doesn't, that's not what I mean, Carol.
I'm just clarifying that.
No, I'm clarifying it too. I'm voting no.
Okay.
Michelle,
Yes,
I also vote yes.
I don't think at this time the town needs a digital sign.
November and December meeting dates. So conveniently, the way the holidays fall in November and December, We are looking at our meetings falling on holidays.
They always follow.
Yep, so at this point, pending any other schedule changes that might be coming, we're looking at our next meeting being November 14th. For our November meeting. And then the meeting to follow that would be the 12th of December.
Are you going to meet on the 26th, the day after Christmas?
We never have.
So we haven't in the past.
Okay, so it's two meetings, one meeting a month.
The last couple of years, we've done November and December, which is fine. Unless there's something that comes up and then we can schedule one.
Yep.
The November one, we might end up having to change by a day or so, so I won't let that come next week.
That's fine. I just wanted to put it out there early enough that we can let people know.
Yep, no, I'll know for sure on the November one next week, but I should have an answer on that either Monday or Tuesday.
Awesome.
But at this point, we'll look at meeting the next time on the 14th, and then on December 12th will be our December meeting. All right. Oh, it's just actually already is on there, never mind. So now I'm gonna take these out of order a little bit. Halloween. Wanna talk about our Halloween event?
Yes, Halloween. All right, so tomorrow we have the haunted walk at Whitney Brook Trail at 6:30 to 8. We started decorating the trail. If anybody wants to be a scarer, we're still looking for we're still looking for volunteers for scares. We do have some volunteers, but we're always looking for more. So that's tomorrow. And the trunk or treat is Saturday. At the boat launch from 6 to 8. All trunks welcome, all kiddos and families, everybody of all ages, welcome to both events. I'm excited.
You made a pretty good last night.
I made a pretty good witch last night.
Robin or Carol, do you have updates to go with that?
The town guys cleared the trail that we used from the Bixby Road to Shirley Road with bench
Yeah.
today, so it's all clear of leaves and whatever, trees and all that. They did a great job this morning for us.
Yeah, the trail looks awesome.
It's on my list to grab some candy tomorrow during the day, so I'll have that for tomorrow night. And then also, well, last year I put a bucket before, or the last time we did it, we had a bucket before they walked in or walked out.
Mhm.
There was a little candy there. But then also for what we've done the last couple of years, we bought candy to help those at trunk or treat,
Mhm.
because usually people run out, so.
For those of us that run out of candy like me last year. I'm hoping not to run out this year, but.
And on a side note, Aaron and I will be dressing up for Halloween, so come visit.
Good. Lighting of the tree. That's you too, I believe.
Oh, me too, yeah. Well, I want to pick a date and do something for the lighting of the tree this year, something that, if we advertise a date that the tree is gonna be lit for, and have people go down for caroling, or maybe we can look at hot chocolate and caroling, or something fun surrounding the lighting of the tree. That's what I'm suggesting, putting out there, I'm hoping
Okay.
for.
Were you thinking during the week or a weekend, or what was your thought process?
Or do you have a date in mind?
No, I don't technically have a date in mind. I was thinking probably, why don't we look at the first, like, right at the beginning of December? No?
December 1st is.
Robin?
Oh, yeah, December 1st is
Robin, do you remember
Sunday.
when it was lit last year?
Usually, we try to get it on by the 1st of December.
Okay, that's what I
We've had
thought.
the lights on in advance. Yeah,
Yeah,
then we turn the lights on the 1st of December, weather permitting. Right.
so the December 1st is on a Sunday. We could do a nice little Sunday early evening dusk celebration.
What time? 5, 6?
You know, what time does the sun go down by then?
Well, that's, you're gonna be earlier than that.
At that, yeah, by that time it's what, 4:30?
That's the hard part, putting those lights on is a lot easier in the daylight than it is in the dark.
Well, putting them on, you're gonna put them on, they'll already be on, you're just
Okay.
gonna plug them in.
Talking about.
Just saying.
Yeah, with the time change, it'll probably be 4:30.
Yeah.
I say 5:30.
Yeah. 5:30, December 1st, lighting of the tree.
And we need to make sure the 2 neighbors on either side of that tree are notified.
Yes,
Because of parking and all, I mean.
Okay.
That's.
And-
And I'll start looking up some Christmas carols and printing out music for everybody to sing. Have chocolate, yum.
No.
no, you never come home there. Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, you wanna create something for a graphic or poster for it?
Oh, I'll try my best. Yep.
If you want to.
Yeah, I am not good with those things. Alyssa's the designer with the Canva.
I'm 65, you'll live.
So,
I just pointed out.
yeah,
To your link.
No comment.
Okay, we'll come up with something.
Can I reach out to Greg Young and see if we can use this bucket truck to get to the top of that tree? Because
We're gonna have to do something
And I
because we've
David
tried,
climbing
yeah.
the tree itself and.
no, and we've tried
So-
poles with hooks on the end of
Yeah.
it and yeah,
It just keeps growing.
yeah, no, I was,
It's funny how that works.
I think it would be interesting to see if Greg can't do it, we can ask around and we'll get somebody to do it. But
so we said December 1st, 5:30,
Correct,
caroling, and the tree is gonna get plugged in.
correct.
Yeah.
we'll figure out something for our snacks, whether it's hot chocolate. or-
BYOHC, bring your own hot chocolate.
Nah, we'll, no.
No.
Hot chocolate?
Yeah, just put in
I wonder.
drinks and snacks provided.
It ain't gonna be all white, it's gonna be colored, right?
Yeah, this color.
Good.
Yeah.
All white looks like hell.
It was the only thing we had last year. because
We didn't have a choice last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hard part about that tree is every year when the wind blows, it kills all the lights, so we end up with new lights every year, basically.
So you're saying, not having a storm.
That would be great.
Yes, that would be
On
awesome.
a lot of fronts, but yes. All right, the next thing, we'll go back to town holiday party.
Are you talking employee? or
Yes,
town?
I'm talking employee.
Well,
Are you talking others?
Employee,
Yes, that's the one I was talking about.
yeah, employee.
okay, well, it wasn't worded that way, so I should double check.
Yeah, no, this is the employee one. Yeah. Saturday the 2nd. As a possible option. I was gonna throw out a couple and then see what everybody had for.
Saturday, the 7th.
I was gonna throw out the 7th, the 13th and the 14th. I mean, actually, you could do 6, 7, 13, 14.
I will have to
If
contact
possible. And then we can,
my guys.
I was thinking for our calendars first and then.
In all honesty, any one of those dates work for me. I don't have anything as of yet. We're talking about this early enough.
Well, that's why I'm trying to do it now, was so, it came up the other night at the meeting, I was like, wait a minute, are we still doing this? Cause if we are, we need to start planning it.
Yeah, 6th, 7th, 13th, 14th are good
Those are
for
a
me.
couple options. And then the next thing would be, do you wanna reach out to Historical and check it out and make sure we can use the building?
Yes,
And what they have for availability?
just tossing it out there. Is weekends and Christmas,
Mhm.
weekends in December, you're gonna run into a lot of people having parties.
Right.
and all
Yeah,
that, so
That's why I'm trying to do it.
We did it on a weeknight, didn't we do the last one on a weeknight?
No, well, it was a Friday night.
Was it a Friday?
Yeah.
I'd keep it as a Friday then,
Mhm.
the 13th.
The other thing, can you also reach out to, Jody and Mary
Yes,
and see what their availability is like? Cause that could also make a difference on when we can have it.
I'm going to see them
Saturday, we need to talk
Perfect.
about that.
So if we can get a couple things from them, that'll check on availability for a couple people, we will then narrow down dates a little more and. Go from there.
Yep, that works for me.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right,
That was a big agenda item.
that's an important one though.
Yes, all of those things were important.
Campbell Road proposal. We finally had an engineer that would get us a proposal
Really good work.
on fixing the storm FEMA damage.
That's fine.
Andy said he'd really like Christine to take a peek at this,
Definitely.
because, because we just kind of. Because, you know, it's, legalese. And we thought it was looking about 20 grand.
Well, that's the number that I saw, which was way under anything that we've been quoted previously.
So I don't know, like you said, he really liked Christine to see it. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I can email it to you if that's easier. I say, or you can have my paper copy either way, because I have it on email.
Guess who's next covered?
Should want 20 grand?
That's what it says.
That doesn't seem right at all.
Quite right,
Mhm.
No, when they came up with a lot more than that.
yes.
Yeah. 5 times that. 6, I know more than that, 8 times that.
Well. No, you know what? We're looking at this wrong. All this is the engineering aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's not the actual work. Stuff.
Well, if that was the work, I'd say no, just.
Yeah. No, this is for
if
survey
you
and
look-
preliminary design. Subsurface investigation support, environmental permitting support, and final design, and then contract documents. So,
Yeah, because
Because if-
contract documents say what needs to be
right,
done.
exactly.
Right, because based on recent projects we've designed, we estimate the cost of what FEMA is suggesting to be in the $400,000 to $450,000 range. That's what the first part of the proposal says. Just turn it off.
I am. Sorry,
Thank you.
delicate people here.
I was wondering where my winter coat.
I was starting to get a little chilly sitting here, so I
Short and sweet.
think somebody's not feeling
Is
you.
that just a quote for the engineering, or does it tell you what they're looking to engineer?
No, it's just the.
Just the engineer.
This is the engineering quote. It talks about their preliminary design, topographic surveys, base plans. Subsurface investigation, environmental permitting, support, final design, and then final design is task 2. Task 3 would be the contract documents, and then the cost, which is 20 grand, and it's broken down in their tasks, so this does not include the actual construction.
We got it in flow.
This is $20,000 for their engineering.
FEMA's proposal was lifting the road and doing the culvert, or no,
Not lifting
No,
the road,
Just the.
basically culvert.
yeah, just the egg-shaped culvert that apparently nobody around here may even makes, so.
So then they came back with a second plan, which was just a regular culvert, and off the top of my head, I can't tell you what that quote was, price wise. I did sign off on $232 for the FEMA that last week. Woo. Yes,
They did find, yes. we
I
finally
don't know, it's not
received the thing.
received yet,
Well,
but I signed off on it, so now it's
Approved.
going through the final, no. I was going through the final approval process.
Did we get anything from them yet?
Nope,
that's the first hint of any money.
that was for management costs. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, we have one proposal finally.
Yeah.
So we can look into that in more detail and have Christine review it.
Yeah, I gotta look at that, because I believe the engineering cost where you could add in excess of the replacement, if I remember correctly,
Sure.
Yeah.
as long as they were reasonable.
Right. Do you remember what the updated quote was with the?
You should have it on your way to you now, Rob.
No, he's got one.
Oh,
Okay,
he has a digital copy now.
There you go.
thank you.
There we go, Jay. Computer quote. Next.
Sorry, I just looked at this, the quote expires today.
Yeah.
We're talking. We received a quote from WD Tech to upgrade our computers, to replace Windows 10. Our computers have slowed down considerably. And, it's been something that we were looking at by Rob. I know that you spoke to Scott in regards to this. This is Greek to me.
And the total on that was 4190.54.
What'd you say, 4190.54?
4190.54. To replace four computers. And monitors. Including 3-year support. From Dell. And the cabling to go with it.
Did we just replace the monitors on the desk?
Hmm.
On the power, I mean?
Counter?
Yeah.
God, no.
Oh, I thought we'd replace it.
No, the counter ones are the original ones that
Okay.
were donated to us before we moved in here. No.
Yes.
So they don't owe us anything.
No,
I'm trying to
I'm
say.
pretty sure those are, on borrowed time. The two larger desk monitors, I think.
The
we're gonna
monitors
keep.
are fine.
That's what I mean, he had 6 in the quote, I would cut the 2 off of that.
Yeah.
Because I think the 2 that are on the desk right now are fine.
Cause they were just done.
One of them is newer than the other, yeah,
The monitors are fine, it's
yeah. It's
the volume down of the computer. I know that if I shut mine down, I have to be here probably an hour to get it to come up.
And I know, talking to Scott last week when he called me, the big concern was around, because of especially 2 of the 4 of those will not update anymore beyond Windows 10, which is on end of life support very shortly. Jim, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was gonna ask this earlier, I probably should have, when Town Cloud was here. Do they have recommendations what we should have on the county? You know, should they be involved with what we're doing with upgrading computers and stuff like that?
No, theirs is this is just the actual computer part. They're just so slow because they're so old.
Their cloud software is actually running on a system. Well, it's actually hosted at Amazon, but, so the only thing our computers would be doing was just accessing that through the internet. So the specs of the actual computers wouldn't matter.
Okay.
I'm glad you did that, because I don't know how to explain that.
So,
It's my life,
same operating system that you're gonna purchase is what you get.
correct, yep. All right, the one thing that we'll have to do is we're gonna, before I can approve it, we gotta go through the budget, because I know there's not that much in there for purchasing, there's only about half of that in there.
Is there,
So-
I don't know about the opera funds, is that something that would fall under that?
I would have to look, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't, if it was something additional, I would say yes. But I think by the wording of the grant, you can't replace things that are already, or programs that are already existing. I believe you can't supplant, so I'll have to. Like I say, I'll double check, I'll look at it and see.
Well, we'll have to have this updated anyway, so if it's got 2 extra monitors on it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, well, I mentioned to Scott when he called me last week to talk about it, I mentioned that I probably wouldn't replace the 2 existing monitors.
okay.
So this quote would change anyways, so.
Right, yep, the quote would reduce a little bit anyways. The other thing I may reach out to Scott and also ask him about, that's expensive enough for computers.
Yeah.
I don't pay that for when I'm buying almost the same computer for the school, so. I may reach out to Scott and see what there are for spec changes that we can make that could bring that down a little bit.
Okay, yeah, we'll need a new quote anyways, like I said, this.
Yep.
So I'm gonna put that you were gonna reach out to him.
Yep, I will reach out to Scott and see.
That cost because of licensing, most of it.
No, it's just hardware cost. There's no licensing included in that, because our licensing is on a separate deal. That's why I'm not happy with the quote. For doing it every day and buying stuff every day, I can't pay that price for computer hardware right now. I'll reach out to Scott and see what we can do to get that done. He and I actually have a meeting tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow or next week. No, Lila, that's next week. But I'll reach out to him and see what we can do about it. If we can change that at all, or what we can do. I do, yeah. I'll check and see what we can find out.
Awesome.
All right. Other business of the office of the board.
We've been crazy busy in the town office. More absentee ballots than I've ever seen, which is great. More new registrations than I've ever seen. Tax bills are being paid. Like to say, I know they're not here, but Andy and Dave, we had to fix the ramp. I don't know if anybody noticed it coming in. We had to fix that. Andy stepped up and helped fix the ramp, so we are, according to the state and the Bureau of Elections, we are up to code on that. Not that we were out of code, but it dropped that little gap a little bit, so kudos to them. Even crazy, so. I think you guys have the rest. Oh, we do have one more thing. I apologize. Signing for a poll permit. Summers Drive.
Oh.
Yep.
You need to read anything else on that?
I can look at it.
Have at it. Can I say something while you're reading?
Sure. That was business time, so go for it.
It's what?
It's time for other business, so go ahead.
Well, this is not even, well, it's town, but not really town. So Saturday from 12:30 to 3-ish, I think, 4 maybe. There's a cornhole tournament at Boondocks Farm to benefit the Bradbury Memorial Chapel. We have a really good raffle table going, and Boondocks is gonna be providing food. So even if you don't play, come out and eat, buy some raffle tickets, support a good cause.
At Boondocks for the Bradbury Memorial.
Yes.
Starts at 12.
30.
12:30.
All right, can I get a motion on the poll permit for Campbell Road?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve CMP's poll permit. And Oxford Networks. Carol,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
and I'm also yes.
Thank you.
All right. Approval of the warrants. AP warrant number 36, 3,444.35. AP 37, 23,646.71.40. Oh, sorry. AP 40, 111,358.38. Payroll warrant number 38, 5,924.11, and payroll warrant number 39, $5,213.92.
Approve as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the AP payroll warrants. Carol,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
and I'm also yes. All right, public comment, 15 minutes starts now.
You.
Go ahead.
Just wondering why we're signing in again. You had stopped it for a while and now you're having us sign in again. Is that gonna be ongoing now or?
Yes,
And why the change?
because I don't know everybody in town, so it helps me know who's here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, it helps for us that don't know everybody and new people, just to pick out who does come and who doesn't,
So it stopped for a while just for.
just because it did. Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. I did it.
I guess not everybody is lifers.
Next, anybody else for public comment?
Take a stab at it. So, last meeting, I thank you so much for all your time. It's a lot, it's something. Just for the people that aren't too aware of how the whole process works with regard to that topic last time, how is that process expected to be executed? Like, we know it's in the pre-planning phases, but some people, maybe even including us, are wondering how that whole process looks from beginning of pre-app to approval of the affordable housing.
Which project are you talking about?
The farm on Staples Hill.
So that at this point is not even on our table, because that's a planning board thing where it's not even
So.
a permit being pulled for that, so
Right.
we have no
Okay, so
say in
just
that
like
at this point.
How the process works though, from like pre-application to approval, would you be able to advise on that or?
Myself personally, no, because we don't handle the permit side of things. That would go through the planning board. Yep. And Robin can chime in if she wants as a planning board member. But like I say, there's no, where that was just a pre-application, that was just a idea concept, there's nothing. There's nothing coming to us on that yet.
Thank you.
Yep.
Pretty cool driving down the road to see Richard environment.
It is cool, we said our lecture the other night, we were like.
Right, yeah, the select board has no governing over the planning board, they're their own.
So even after the application, it doesn't
No.
land with you guys ever? Okay.
Nope, doesn't come before us. The only way it would. Actually, no, it wouldn't, because if there was a reason that the planning board, turned it down, or there was an appeal, it would go to our appeals board. It wouldn't come to us, it would go to the separate appeals board.
Thank you.
Does Canton now have an appeals board or does it go up to Peru?
Canton does not have an appeals board currently. What we would do is if there is an appeal that comes in, we would immediately put out looking for members for the appeals board. The last time we talked to the people who were last listed on our appeals board, none of them had interest in continuing. So that's one of the positions, if anybody's interested, we would love having people join the appeals board. We posted it a few times, and like some of our other positions, we haven't been able to get anybody to volunteer to fill those seats.
What does that appeals board entail?
So the appeals board is very. They don't meet very often, if at all.
Between.
The only time they meet is if there is an appeal on something, which in the entire time I've been on the board, they've only had to meet one. In 13 years, they've met one time.
The marijuana dispensary?
No.
Nope,
Okay.
nope, it was it was about building a garage. It was about how close it was to the lines.
When somebody wants a variance from the.
Like.
You're correct, 2 times.
Too close to a brook or far away, it doesn't setbacks, that kind of thing.
You're right. So you're right, 2 times, because there was one with one of the lots in town on how close the building was to the brook around the dam. So there was 2 times that they've met.
Yeah, if you're asking for a variance that's not covered in the limits. then
Other comments?
Questions?
Okay.
All right.
We may have answers, we may not.
This one I knew we were in the answer to, but just have it on record to confirm, the select board does appoint members of the planning board, correct?
Correct, as long as there are empty seats, yes.
Well-
Yep, if there's no empty seats, it would be done, excuse me, normally it's done through the election, but if the election does not fill a seat, then we have the authority to appoint.
So it is normally an elected seat. So
Yeah.
when there is openings on that particular board, just like the select board, around election time, you can pull out papers, get signatures to be put on the ballot. And then during elections, you can be voted.
Michelle, while I'm talking to you, your knowledge, how long has the planning board been operating beneath capacity, i.e. 5 members? Approximately.
Well, we had 5 members last spring.
Yeah. Right, so there was a short period of time in June, there was a write-in. And somebody was put on the board, so there was a full board. And I'm not exactly sure when that person needed to step down for personal reasons.
This has been greater than 6 months, was it this June you said, or last June?
June is when
Yeah.
elections are.
So that was the June. last-
And that's, the planning board used to actually be a 7-member board, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, at one point, this board was a 7-member board, and the reason that one of the times we redid the planning board ordinance, we cut the number down is because we couldn't get people to fill it. And we've honestly had a hard time even getting 5 to be on the board. So for a lot of time, it ran with 4, and then we had a 5th member for a short time, and then due to family health reasons, he had to step down.
Arguably, I don't know where it fell in June, about 4 months to make it.
No, he
No.
was elected in June. I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure what month he stepped down.
I would have to look.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head and I don't wanna misspeak on that. And like Brian said, I mean, historically, we have a hard time filling all of our boards and committees. So, I mean, every single committee that we have in town and every board that we have in town probably has vacancies, except for the select board, we're full right now.
So even after the meeting, would you by any chance be able to give me like a exact amount of time that the board has been missing the necessary people?
I would have to do research. I wouldn't be able to have that for you right after the meeting. I'd have to look into that myself, because I'm not exactly sure when that. Understood, but I can find out, yeah.
Follow-up question, why?
I'll ask these questions, the following questions, and then I might kind of allude as to why, but. So when did the select board receive my application to become a member?
You do not have one.
I haven't seen it yet.
It wasn't a formal application, and that is my fault. I didn't realize there was actually formal applications now.
Okay,
Um,
so, but the W4, I-9 to.
That was just preemptive. At the time, you were the only one interested, so I asked you to fill those out.
Yeah.
But you would still have to be appointed.
Okay.
And that was, and then like a week and a half later, someone else asked for to be considered.
So,
So,
so if I understand that correctly, like basically the board, a few months vacant on that seat, and then within about a week of me expressing interest, another person expressed interest.
yes.
Yeah, I wanna say it happened about the same time and they're not connected. Cause I don't think either one of you knew about the other one.
No, I don't.
I can guarantee you that either one of you didn't know about the other one.
No, I'm not talking about knowing about the other one, I'm just trying to see the time that has lapsed.
Well, no, I'm trying to clarify something for you. You expressed interest and at the same time, this other person expressed interest. They're not related at all.
I don't think I'm not implying there was a relation between me expressing interest, I'm just kind of trying to suggest that someone else. Showed interest within a short period after me, because originally when I applied, I was running unopposed. And then, shortly after the affordable housing came on the table, the other person managed to poof. So I'm
No,
just trying to.
No.
it came out before that.
Yeah, it was literally right after you had said that, and like I said, I wasn't aware that there was someone else interested. That's why I gave you those forms.
Yeah.
They came, it was almost back to back.
Yeah, it pretty much was at the same time, because I had gotten an email. Becoming aware of another person that was interested, and I responded to that email saying. I'm very happy that we are now seeing interest in our boards.
Yeah.
Is how I responded to that.
And do we have an exact date stamp as to when did you receive the W4 and 9 forms? Do you recall from me when you received it?
I would have to look in my emails, but that's not an application.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. like I said, I was just being preemptive at the time because you expressed interest, I jumped, no, I say I jumped the gun, I was getting that paperwork ahead of time for you. But nothing would have been decided until tonight if a decision was made.
Yeah, I understand that. I know this, affordable housing was dated October 2nd, was delivered to the above neighbors, I believe, on the. So I'm just trying to determine,
There's no collusion, there's no
Yeah, there's
conspiracy,
no-
there's no anything. Yeah, it's just coincidence.
That happens quite often, it's feast or famine.
Mhm. That it?
for now.
I'd like to step in on this because I'm on the same page as Mike here. I'm totally confused on this. Why did Michelle get an email saying there's another person running?
Because I'm the liaison of the planning board and it was email sent out by the planning board informing the planning board and myself that there was an interested party, and I responded to that email letting the planning board know that there was also another interested party.
So did the planning board let Mike know and Dawn Everly know that they had to make out applications?
I
Is this open to question for me or?
I don't-
Anybody, Mike? I want to know how come both you guys didn't make out the proper applications?
I mean, I was under the impression, and maybe I misunderstood, but I was under the impression that I was coming here to swear an oath originally, and then coincidentally enough, another person managed to appear shortly thereafter. That's why I, came, I was under the impression that.
Yeah, and me too, Mike, because I thought we were deciding who was going to be on the board because it hasn't been a secret that Dawn Everly wanted to be on the board too, because I've watched the planning board meetings lately. I'm confused on this whole situation. How come there hasn't been two applicants that made out applications? The planning board should have notified these two applicants.
I'm not trying to throw Kathy or anybody else on the bus. I think it was just an oversight that it wasn't mentioned. Kathy herself was not aware that there were applications now.
Right,
That's not something that we've done in the past.
It's only been the last three.
I was gonna
3
say a
years?
couple of years, right? Yeah.
Well,
On
is
the
this
left.
up to the planning board to notify these people?
No,
Who's it up to?
should be up to the office.
Yeah.
And Kathy didn't know.
And I did,
so-
I'll be the first to admit, I didn't know that there was physical application to fill out.
Well, Diane Ray said at planning board meeting that Dawn Everly was interested. So did Dawn Everly get a hold of Diane Ray?
I do not know the answer to that.
From also watching that meeting, I just know that was what was talked about that meeting was that, I think, and Diane, correct me if I misspeak, that Diane ran into Dawn somewhere. And I don't know how it came up, but it came up that she was interested in joining the planning board, or a comprehensive plan. And I believe she was invited to a planning board meeting. I don't believe she attended a planning board meeting. So I don't know where that is. All I know is I got an email stating that she was interested, and it was an email that was only addressed to the planning board and myself as the liaison. And that's when I informed them that I was aware of another person, because Kathy told me that Mike had come into the office.
It just seems like we're never ready for what's on the agenda at these select board meetings. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm glad Mike asked these questions because he's prepared for things to happen. Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Or thoughts or public comment?
I don't have
Diane?
any questions, but I have some information, that might answer some of the questions that are circulating around town.
Mhm,
So
sure.
I only made, I think about 9 or 10 copies. But it explains what, well, I didn't know.
The metal chairs are Monday.
I thought it was building the barn.
No. That was earlier this summer, Holland should have a barn.
Brian,
Yes,
I didn't know Diane was there. Why didn't Diane answer my question? Where did she know Dawn was wanting to apply for this position?
I have to look at the date. We met at a party. I've never met the woman before. And she got talking about moving back into town and wanting to contribute. And I said, hey, there's an opening on the planning board and there's an opening on a lot of work on the comprehensive plan, which I think is where she wants to go. I said, come to the meeting, see what goes on at the meeting, see if you're interested. And come to the town office and fill out an application. And I don't think she's done either one at this point.
I couldn't hear you, but did she say she told her to come to the town office to make out a application?
Yes.
yes, that's what she
Yes.
said. Yep,
And she hasn't done it, right?
Correct.
that's correct. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
We'll send you every day.
Yeah, I would like to make a comment because I did watch the meeting, that particular meeting with John Everly and Michael, has been no secret, was brought up. And it was brought up, obviously we weren't here, but he has not been to any meetings or whatever else. I think he's done what he can, we've done what we can to show up to these meetings recently. Especially with this being in place, I just want to put it out there. I do have a question, has Dawn applied yet to applicate to this process or come to the office and made it known that she wants this position, or is this just hearsay at this moment?
Nobody's filled out an application that,
He just did.
Right.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
right, and that's why it's been tabled, because neither applicant.
We didn't
filled out
have
the
either one in front of us, so that's why
Full board.
I tabled it at this point.
And the full board isn't here.
So just at a quick glance, we've done pictures of the barn from 10 years ago versus a year ago versus this year, and it was clearly deteriorating. So there needs to be something done, as you repaired or something is tighter and hazard. People have posted a lot of really good questions. Some of them are listed there. But we wanted to look at, part of the comp plan is also looking at the data in the town. That over the last like 10 years, Oxford County and Canton both have had an increase in population percentage of older people. Right, we know we're an aging community. Didn't have as much increase as Oxford County as a whole. But we also saw an increase in the last few years of some 25 to 35-year-olds and a little bit of kids. Right, so the town makeup has shifted a tiny bit, but we still have a lot of old people. As part of the comp plan, the town was looking at what they call affordable housing. And affordable housing is defined by all the lenders as, can you afford this with 30% of your income? Right, so 30% of your income spent on housing is considered the line. If you're spending 30% or more, that's not affordable. So in the 2020 census, in the town of Canton, about a third of the homeowners, people who own single family homes, were paying 30% or more of their income for housing costs. So that's about a third were in like unaffordable, they're struggling. About 68% of the time, renters were paying 30% or more of their income for rent. If you look just in the 2023, so the last 3 years, you know, everybody's prices have gone up, costs have gone up. Wages have not kept up to the cost of housing. As a county and as a state, that percentage of homeowners who are paying only 30% has gone up. Canton has gone down a little bit. But renters have gone up 85%. So from 68 to 85% in 3 years. So that says 85% of people paying rent are paying more than 30% of their income. So what affordable housing is trying to do is bring those numbers in line for homeowners and renters. On the next page is what the main housing definition of affordability is. I mean, everybody was tossing numbers around the other night, so this is the actual data. For Oxford County, one single person making 80% of the area median income is making $46,150, which is a pretty lot of money for one person. $52,750 is the definition of affordability for two people in Oxford County. What affordable housing means is nobody's giving renters any money and nobody's giving landlords money. Everybody's doing is putting rent restrictions on it. It's saying you have to cap how much you can charge for rent in order to make it more affordable for people. So you, the landlord, have to figure out how to make that kind of income work for you as a landlord. So these are the actual numbers in the documents. Somebody had asked a question about state or federal programs might be supporting affordable housing. There is a rural affordable housing rental program on Maine Housing, the link is there. It was open in 2023. It has not taken any applications in 2024. It may be open later this year or early next year. It encourages development of affordable housing through low interest loans to developers. It's not a handout. The loans have to be paid back. So right now, that program isn't open. It's not even sure if there's going to be another round of funding. What I've heard talking to people is if it is open, there's about 25 applicants for possibly 4 spots. So, that would happen. But that could possibly be a pursuit. Somebody I was told posted over Facebook that personally, we're taking all kinds of federal money for the repairs on the barn. I want to make sure that's crystal clear. We have nothing except for personal finances have gone into that barn. So that's misinformation that's circulating. Looking at the next page is a profile of a renter who meets those income requirements. At that $46,000 a year, currently our school district hires starting salary with a bachelor's degree is $40,000. So a teacher, brand new teacher out of school could work there. RSU 10, Rumford School District has starting salary with a little bit higher for their teachers, but still within the income targets for affordable housing. A medical assistant, I got data from Maine Health. A medical assistant starts 39 to 45,000. They would fall in that range. Several people who just word of mouth have called and inquired, to give a description of who those people are. These are all people. The self-employed craftsperson who meets income requirements wants to be closer to family, who's a quiet reader. I'm like, how rich am I getting? Just very nice person. Screening applicants, certainly applicants would be thoroughly screened, background checks, employment history, rental history, etc., and individual interviews. Somebody also, I believe on social media, was saying that you've been running affordable housing scams for years, my husband and I. We have one rental unit we own that unit has been rented since 2007. It's been rented by our choice at below market rates to help people get a start. The last 12 years, we've had 2 tenants. Each of those tenants have been there for extended periods of time. A single father and his son moved in. They have gone on to purchase a home in Canton, and a young couple who came with 1 child left with 2. But they have gone on to purchase a home in Peru. So how we screen our tenants and how we manage the people that are in our properties that we own.
I gotta hit you up on time, if you
Okay.
can wrap it up, and then we'll move forward.
Okay, it also talked a little bit here, someone was saying that we've taken, studied how to scam people. We took a little bit of classes on how to understand financing of real estate, because we're not real estate financiers. So we learned a little bit there. There's some information here on where the current state of the project is. It does describe that process a little tiny bit for you. If you're interested. And kind of the last page basically says, nothing is set in stone. There's a lot of options to repurpose that building. So a lot of things are in consideration.
So I'm gonna make this quick, just because we are over time.
Minus the
Trav,
There's planning board meetings open to the public.
they are,
Right.
they're also streamed on Facebook, on YouTube.
Also, in a perfect world, we'd love to cherry pick our applicants. However, with government funding, there is a wait list for these Section 8 affordable housing. My experience, my mom had to go on a wait list, and if she wasn't on a wait list, they required us to live in a homeless shelter for a bit, and that's when my mom said, hell no. So don't you have to give preference to people that are on the wait list first?
You do not.
Because I was looking at,
Government run building, potentially, it's not, it's a privately owned.
but it's subsidized, isn't it? Subsidized rent.
Subsidized.
All right, so we're on time limit now, so I'm gonna move us forward. Committee reports. Carol.
The trailer and the excavator have been picked up. Not a good time of year to start digging up roads, so that's all on hold. Everything at the sewer department is going where it's supposed to.
Do we have, the truck, or has he started getting trucks ready, or?
I do not know. I have been working every day and my hours and Andy's coincide, so I honestly haven't been able to catch up with him that much.
Okay.
I do know that we do not have any applicants yet for the one-time position. So,
You want us to rerun that?
I would,
yes.
yep, I would
Is that all
run it,
MMA as well?
I would try
I
it.
did it. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
I
I
would
did.
try the MMA job board, Melvin. Guys, can we keep the chatter down just so we can finish the meeting? Thank you.
We have not a CDL position or?
No.
It is not,
No.
nope.
You interested?
No, I haven't, that's why I want to be ruled out.
Okay.
It doesn't mean
Yeah,
we're
you
really
can
not,
post
because you
the
have.
Facebook, the paper and MMA.
Where would you like it to run in the paper? Sunday, the same as before?
Yeah,
They
probably.
advised us that that was the most read and it's not any upcharge.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It used to be an upcharge, so
2
we'll take
weeks.
it. Might as well at this
Sunday,
point,
yeah.
yeah, we're
Sunday.
shooting blanks at this point. Yep.
Facebook.
Michelle.
Soccer is wrapping up, the last of the games are this weekend. And then, did you get my email on that, Kathy?
I did, and I've notified Nickerson's.
Okay.
After this weekend,
Well,
after
they're,
Halloween.
yes,
Yes.
I would say after Halloween is the safe thing to say, because there are gonna be two more like fun practices. Where it's gonna be like parents versus kid games during the week, next week, so, but this weekend, we're wrapping up the games and. Soccer has gone really well, from my understanding, so.
And I would say, and I would say somewhere around like the 15th or so of November, we'll pull the, we can have Archie's pull the dumpster for the summer, for the winter as well.
Oh, there's a dumpster there?
Yes.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, so I'd say sometime around mid-November, we could have Archie's pull that.
Speaking of, have you received a bill for cleanup?
Because we are, sorry. We have not yet, and that was something I did want to ask, Andy asked me to ask. We're keeping the tires open through Saturday.
Yep, and then we'll see where we're at, reevaluate if we need to keep it another weekend.
Okay.
Yep.
And I've already talked to BS, and she said just let them know when we're ready to have it.
Yep, yeah, the comment from Jim last weekend was, his rough guess from the information he was given was roughly 8 ton. And we need to hit that 10 ton minimum to get the break on the price, so we will.
I can't imagine.
Andy did find a bunch of tires on the side of the road, so.
Good. Yep, yeah, good, like I say, we'll keep it open until we hit till we think we're close to the minimum and then go from there, that way we can get the price break and.
Yeah.
Do it that way. All right, board comments,
You heard mine.
Sean,
I don't think I got no more.
Sean?
I have a question on the Meadowview Road.
Yep,
Is that, part of that discontinued?
it is discontinued, I believe, just after the concrete bridge.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that is, but I had a complaint last week about the town crew out there doing some work on it. Is that true? I don't know. I didn't take a ride out.
They were maintaining our section for access to the cemetery.
There's some
Okay.
culverts.
Yeah, there's a couple culverts that have been crushed in the last couple of years when they've done wood harvesting out there. So we've got to get those dug up and replaced because it's basically washing the center of the road out. And then they're putting a little bit of fill in there as well, try to build the center of the road back up.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
That road is in very good shape right now. I was out there today
Mhm.
to go to the cemetery. It's the best it's been in.
All right. Can I get a motion? Can I get a motion to go into executive, take a
I make a
3-minute recess to answer Mary Ann's questions and then going into executive session.
He said, that's my motion. I second that.
I have a motion and a second for a 3-minute recess and then executive session. Carol,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
perfect. We are in recess followed by the second. What can we do for you?
Why were there so many people?